Okay, so we are at Fort Frederick Market Fair, and I'm actually here with the Drunken Apprentice. Hi, and I really like your name, the Drunken Apprentice, the business name. How'd you come up with that?
Well, when I first started out, I was a little concerned about how everything looked, and I was just beginning. So I figured if things came out a little off kilter, as well,
Well,
it's
there
because
you
I'm an apprentice,
go.
and maybe just add the other little part of it may not turn out like I wanted it to turn out.
Yes.
So I started out with that, but I may be able to move up since then.
Well, there you go. There you go. And you blow glass and.
So I've made all of these items that you see here, and I can tell you about each one as we go by.
Yeah, fabulous.
If you want to look first at the Freemason glasses.
Okay.
These are often called firing glasses,
Okay.
and the firing glasses, we can't document that they're called firing glasses,
Right.
but Freemason glasses does appear in historical documents.
Right.
And in examples where George Washington had ordered Freemason glasses.
Nice.
They are used by the Masons, and they're a little bit different from other glassware,
Okay.
which is noticeable because there's a very thick foot and a very thick stem. Part of how these were used involved doing a toast and wrapping it on the table.
Nice.
When you wrap it on the table, it can make a very loud noise. The glass that you see here can withstand that.
Okay.
Whereas something much more delicate,
Yeah.
you wrap that on the table,
Right.
and you don't have glassware anymore. So,
Yes.
so when this gets wrapped on the table, they say it sounds like a musket firing.
There you
Therefore,
go.
firing glass.
Yeah.
And what you see here, if you take a closer look, if you sort of cut off the big foot on there,
Okay.
it looks like a shot
glass.
which still gets wrapped on the table and sounds like a gunshot.
Gunshot.
So there's no documentation for it, but it's a really good story.
Yeah.
So those are Freemason glasses.
Absolutely. And these are fancier.
These are fancier glasses. These are opaque twist stems. There is white glass that is combined with a dipped in clear glass, and then there's other
Yeah.
strands of white glass that have been pulled.
Yeah, I love the design in there.
And so this is a multi-layer. It looks sort of like an ice cream sandwich when you start. And then there's extra pieces that are put on top and on the bottom, wrapped in a very big ball of clear.
Yeah.
And to pull this cane,
Right.
and here's a thicker example. To pull this
Oh,
cane,
fabulous.
you need to start walking backwards from the person who has the other end,
Right.
and both start twisting. And watch very carefully as to how much it stretches or doesn't stretch, because you can have a variety of thicknesses
Right,
depending
yeah.
on how quickly you back up, or all sorts of other variables. Gravity is always part of this. So this is a very fancy opaque twist dram glass. It only holds about an ounce, and it would be for elegant situations, officers,
Okay.
toasting situations where you're constantly filling the glass and having a
Oh,
sip.
good.
So
Yeah.
like port, Madeira,
Nice.
like that.
I love it.
Okay. So some other kinds of glassware. Let's go over here. The
tumblers.
tumbler. This is your most common glassware.
Okay.
It's something that if anybody did have glassware, they likely have one of these. It
Right.
would be for medicines or water. Frequently, you found wine glasses on the table in addition to tumblers.
Yeah.
So, that's sort of the beginner level of purchasing glass. Then the next thing you see here is mostly French in
Okay.
origin.
Yeah.
There's a French wine bottle in the 1750s. It's this flower pot shape, which they do tend to keep, and it looks like they're modern champagne bottles now.
Yeah.
So that was a popular shape. I don't have any of the English mallets, but they look
Right.
very different. The English bottles are different at this time period.
Yeah.
The blue-green glass that you see, this is all French in origin.
Oh, okay.
One of the ingredients they used
Yeah.
to make glass had some impurities in it. Most of the time, glass is going to have a little bit of iron, which turns things slightly greenish. Oh, bird visitors. And so actually, when you look at these tumblers, I don't know if you can catch the light,
Okay.
but some of the rims
Yeah.
you'll see look a little different. When
Oh,
you look
okay.
at glass, even window glass or something in your picture frame,
Yeah.
when you look at it from the edge, there's a slight greenish tint.
Great. Yeah.
It's the iron that's in the glass.
Oh, I see.
And to get rid of that greenish color, you have to add decolorizing agents, so other things
Okay.
that contradict it, so
Right.
it appears clear to us. When the French were making their storage containers,
Yeah.
they were less concerned about the impurities in the colors. It would
Right.
have taken them a whole lot more energy and time and fuel, much more expensive to try to make it clear. So when it turned out bluish green due to like copper and
Yeah.
iron in there, they just, all right, whatever, and it looks kind of pretty. So, so they left it that color. So most of those,
Yeah.
and even in the Americas, when you start to get some impurities, we do have slightly greenish, bluish tinted glass.
Right, yeah.
And it's the storage containers, because we're not really concerned about about it being crystal clear and sitting on the table, looking slightly bluish or greenish. So those had things like olives, olive oil,
Yes.
anchovies, capers. The glassware was necessary for things that you were putting in vinegar
Okay.
or in oil.
Yes.
You couldn't use ceramic. Glazed ceramic would still leach a little bit. So you have your liquor bottles,
Right.
oils and vinegars.
Oh, nice.
And that's really what it was for.
Yeah.
Plus, if you wanted to preserve your fruit,
Yeah.
you put brandy in with your peaches, and that keeps
Okay.
them very nice. So, the footed tumbler you see here
Okay.
is Bohemian in origin.
Oh, I like
founded
that.
in Louisburg.
Oh, cool.
And one of the interesting things is what we found out a bit about King Louis is he was less attracted to the French glassware that was being made,
Oh.
and he was more attracted to the German and Bohemian glass.
Oh, that's interesting.
That starts. And that craftsmanship really, the glass world really improved with what is now the Czech Republic.
Okay, yeah.
So that was a popular glass, and that's a trade item.
Yeah.
Next to it, you see the small gin bottles. There's 3 sizes larger than these,
Okay, yeah.
which end up being extremely heavy once you fill them with stuff.
Right.
But these bottles, the smaller mouth ones, you would have gin in it or other liquors, and of course reused for anything else you need. And then it's the English version of what you just saw with the French.
Okay.
And it's their storage container for pickles or olives
Yeah.
or anything like that. The next thing over here is just sort of some smaller bottles. Medicine bottles tend to be tippy for one
Yes,
thing. And medicine bottles have an everted lip on the top. I've yet to figure out why, but that tends to be just sort of a distinction for them.
Okay.
I've filled them with samples of what you need to make glass. This is silicon dioxide,
Oh, nice.
which is sand.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the former. You really need that. You need 70% of that.
Yeah.
This is soda ash. This is just one way to make glass. There's other combinations, just like there's more than
Yeah.
one way to make a cookie, but you need certain things.
Okay, yeah.
So the soda ash is the ingredients for the glass I'm making, and that's sodium oxide, and that keeps it moving,
Right.
and you're able to work at a lower temperature with it. So it's a flux, and they would get it from the seaweed. Seaweed would tend to make it this bluish green like the French.
Yeah.
And then the potash from the woodlands, when you hear about vault glass or forest glass, that's kind of
Right.
green.
Okay.
So that is your ash. And then your lime, you need about 9% of this
Yeah.
as the troops form, and that stabilizes it. And then over here you just see a couple other tools.
Okay.
This is a wood block for
Okay,
forming
yeah.
the glass. When you're first working it, you need a nice round
Right.
ball so that when you blow it out, it wants to become a sphere. So the better you start off at the
Oh,
beginning,
okay.
the better everything else is going to turn
Oh,
out.
that's cool.
And you end up making sort of a bubble shape. And so the tools that you use are all made of cherry wood, and it has to do with they create a nice ash cushion when
that's-
you're working with them.
Oh, nice.
This would stay wet all the time, and the paddle's the only thing that would normally stay dry. But you need some calipers sometimes to measure what you're doing.
Right.
And this is a footing tool
Okay.
that you can see where the stem of a glass would go in and a blob of glass here, and you squeeze it and squish it down, and it creates the disc for the foot of a glass. So those are just some of the tools
Yeah.
that you use. This is sort of the base of the part that you see here
Oh,
that would
okay.
become this
Oh,
glass.
cool. I like that. Nice. Yeah, things you find out here. Absolutely. So now, do you have like a Facebook page or a website or anything, or?
I don't have a website. You can find me on Facebook as
Okay.
Francis Kioski.
Okay.
But I basically I'm not really doing this as a business. It's more of a hobby.
Oh, okay,
and so
cool.
whatever events I show up at, I do sell there.
Great.
But yeah, I don't have a business. I don't ship.
Uh-huh.
I can't afford to do it. It would make all the prices much higher.
Right. Yeah. So like, what's the next event you're going to be at?
I'm always here at Market Fair at Fort
Okay.
Frederick, and then definitely the French and Indian War event up at Fort Niagara.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Do a couple others as I can add them in.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, thank you. All right.
Nice speaking with you today.
Yes. Nice speaking with you too, always. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the market fair.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.